This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. So let us continue our today's topic. Yesterday we have done with installation. So let us see the continuation. So I have finished the installation yesterday. Let me just power on the machine. So I'm just double clicking on the machine so that the virtual machine what we have installed should be powering on. Let us see the post installation. For the first time, I'm powering on the machine after installation. Yesterday, after installation, I kept it shut down. So let's see once we boot it for first time, what questions it asks and how we can log in into our Linux environment graphically, command line, both ways we'll try to understand. Let's wait maybe another 1 minute or so. Usually for the first time, whenever you are booting, it might take time. Next time onwards, it would be faster. So you see, for the first time when you are booting the system after installation, it is asking you to accept the license. See, even when you install a small software, you need to accept the license. So let us click on license information and let us say I accept the license agreement. Let us click on done. Right now, if you have a license key or you have a registered corporate ID, then you can go for subscription and you can subscribe, right? So we don't have any license key or other thing. I'm ignoring it, right? Let us say finish configuration. Okay, so this is how it looks like once your installation is completed. Now, if you would like to log in, you can log in as a normal user, my user, or maybe you want to log in as an administrator. See, in order to do most of the important works in the system, you need to log in as administrator. Who is the administrator in Unix environment? We studied in our second class. That was root user. Root user is the most powerful user in Unix environment. So to log in as root user, you have to click on not listed, type the username you want to continue with. I want to continue with root user, the most powerful user. And we know the password what we have kept during installation, Red Hat. So let me type the password Red Hat. And now you see that you will be logging as administrator, root user, or the most powerful user in Unix or Linux environment. With the help of this user, you can do all important tasks like installing software, adding more user. All these things can be done only with the help of this user. Okay. All right. So these are the initial things, guys, what it was going to ask. Simply say next, 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 skip, right? That's it. Nothing else we have to do, just need to say next, 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 and stop, right? So this is how graphically you can log in and you can work. Like in Windows, you have Start menu. Here we have Activities. So when you click over here, it gives you lots of places to do different activities. But guys, when we see in real scenarios on production environment, we never work this way, like logging graphically and working kind of thing. What we do usually in production environments or in our real scenarios, we work over command line using network. So over the network with command line, usually we work. So how can I connect to my machine over the network in command line mode? Let us try to understand that. See, in order to work with any Unix or any Linux machine over the network in command line mode, we need to download and install a tool. The most common tool that is used by everyone in working environment is PuTTY tool, right? This PuTTY tool will allow you to work with any Unix or any Linux over the network in command line mode. And this is widely used tool, guys, right? So just go to download PuTTY and click over here. You can download PuTTY from here. So click it, and just once the software is downloaded, you have to say next, 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 and complete your installation. For example, I clicked over here, and I'm going to download 64-bit installer or 32-bit. My machine is 64-bit. I'm going with 64-bit installer. Now, once it is downloaded, you have to say next, 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 and complete the installation. Same like your normal software, how you install in Windows environment. Just we need to say next, 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 and your PuTTY tool will be installed. In my case, it is already installed, so I'm not going to install it one more time. Just simple next, 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 and your installation would be completed. Now, what we need to do is open on your desktop. There will be icon available PuTTY. Just double click on that, and this is how the PuTTY look like. See, when you open it, it asks you to type the IP address of the machine that you are going to connect. Guys, yesterday you remember during installation we set the IP address. In fact, we checked whether it was pinging or not, connecting or not. So what is the IP I kept? I kept the IP 192.168.10.20. Let me just check it out. Is it reachable from my Windows environment or not? So I'm telling ping, just check me out whether 192.168.10.20 IP is reachable or not. So let me hit enter, and you see it is replying me back. If it is replying back, that means the IP is reachable. So what I have to do is in PuTTY tool, I need to type the IP address, same IP 192.168.10.20, and the port number is 22, right? So I would like to connect with SSH, and let me say open. Now, when I say open, you see it is going to ask me a question. Do you want to continue connecting? Simply say yes. Now, when you say yes, you see you are connected to the other Linux machine over the network using the IP address. Now, it is asking you to type some username to log in to that machine. You can log in with any username you know, but I'm going to connect with the most powerful user, root, because I want all the power to work with. So let me log in as root, and you can give the password. The password is red hat. Enter. Now you can see that you are logged in successfully into that machine over the network in remote environment. Guys, this is the way we exactly work on production environments. We never directly connect in the graphical environment or so. We will be connecting over the network using this command line tool. Now let me make some changes in that command line tool. As you see, the fonts are very small, not really visible. I want to increase the size of fonts, or maybe I would like to change the color codes, many other changes I want to do. So you can just right click on the top, and there is an option here called change settings. So just click on change settings. Over here, you can see we are having appearance option here, right? So go to appearance. Now there is an option font. It is selected 10 points. I'm going to increase that number of points. So click on change. First of all, I'll make it little bolder so that viewability should be increased. And the size of font, I'm going to make it 16 points, right? And let me say OK, and I'm going to apply that change. So now you can see that the size of the font has been increased. So now it is little viewable properly, right? You can make it whatever you want, guys. The size 16 I selected for my viewability. You can select it whatever you really wanted to make it, right? Now, one more thing I'd like to do is maybe this black and white environment I don't want. I want to reverse it. I want white background to be there and black foreground to be there so that I can view it perfectly. So let me just right click on it. Again, I'll go to change settings one more time. And this time I'm going to go into colors option, right? And here there is an option use system colors. Just select it and say apply. So you see guys, it changed the options. Now white is the background and black is the foreground. Now this becomes little viewable. As per the classes are concerned, I found this type of settings little useful. Now guys, if I want to save these settings, see every time I log in into my Linux machine, I don't want to sit making these changes. I want to save these settings so that these settings are saved and I should continue working same way. So how can I save these settings? One more time, right click on the top, go to change settings, and here you can give it some name. For example, I'm going to call it Linux 20, for example, 6 a.m. Something like that I want to call it. Let me save this settings and I'm going to apply. Now guys, let me show you how the settings will get saved. I'll go with exit to get disconnected. See, I'm not shutting down the system. I'm not rebooting my Linux machine. I'm getting disconnected. It's like you're working on a browser. Once your work is over, you will close the browser. Same way when I say exit, I'm going to get disconnected from the server. So you see, I got disconnected. I'll again open that putty tool, and you find this time there is a setting which is already saved with the name called Linux 20. See, if I don't use that setting, if I simply type IP address 192.168.10.20 and click on open, again it is going to give me the fresh settings, small in size, all that thing, which I don't want. So if you want your previous settings to be loaded, just click on that Linux 20, whatever is written, and say load this settings. So when you load the settings and say open, you'll find that you are connecting the way you have saved the changes last time. So whatever changes you have saved, according to that, it is going to log in. So this is the way, guys, we have to work with our PuTTY tool in order to connect any Linux or any Unix over the network. Whenever you want to connect remotely any Unix, any Linux in command line, we normally uses a tool called PuTTY. But PuTTY is not the lone tool. You can use different tools. There are many alternatives that are available for PuTTY. You can use any of that tool you want to work with. But PuTTY is one of the widely used tool in order to connect Unix or Linux machine over the network in command line. Now remember one thing, PuTTY does not gives you graphics. It is a command line tool to connect any Unix or Linux over the network. Now, let us start our first practical. Now, this is going to be our first real class, guys. Up till now, we have seen the introduction, we have seen architecture, and we are done with installation, right? But in all these things, you see, mostly we were dealing with theory and all. Now, today, we are going to start with our first practical, what we are going to learn in Unix. This is called Unix basics. So whatever we are going to learn today, all these basics, in next 3 to 4 classes, we are only and only going to work with Unix basics. Linux administration will not even touched in next 4 classes. After your next 4 classes, once the Unix basics are completed, then we are going to work with Linux administration. So this is our first Unix basics class. See, the first thing what I wanted to check it out is with what username I have logged in into the system. So if you want to view that what is the username with which you have logged in, you can say who am I. When I say who am I, it is going to show you what is the username you are logged in with. So it says I'm logged in with a name called root. So I have logged in as a user what? Root user. Now guys, we learned one more concept called home directories. Every user has its own personal directory or folder where he or she can store their data. Same way, root has a home directory called /root, and all normal users will have their home directory in /home. Let me take you to that slide, what we have discussed in the previous classes. So in the introductory file system hierarchy classes, I have explained you this thing, that there is a directory /root. It is a home directory for root user. Then we have /home, that is the home directory for all normal user. Root user is the most powerful user, so root user will get a separate home directory. It's like he's the boss, so he'll get a big room as his office, and all the normal users will be sitting in the cubicles at one place, kind of thing. So all normal users home directory will be in /home, but root users home directory is /root. Whenever you log in into the system with any username, you will be by default landing into that user's home directory, right? So as I ran the command, who am I? It told me that you are logged in as a root user. Now one more command, if you run pwd, when you run this command, it prints the working directory, in which directory you are logged in now. So when you run pwd, it says you are in /root. Guys, when you log in as root, automatically you will be landing into that user's home directory. Suppose I will log in as some other user. I'll take duplicate session. I'll have right click on the top and I got duplicate session option. So same machine, I'll be connecting this time with other user. You remember during installation we created my user. So I know the password of my user also. Let me log in as my user. Now this time if you say who am I? It says you are my user. And if you say pwd, it tells you that you are in home directory of my user. All normal users home directories are created in slash home. I have a user my user, so directory name will be slash home my user. If you have a user called Manoj, then you'll see slash home Manoj. If you have a user called Hamid, then you'll see slash home Hamid. So like that, what happens? Every normal user will get a home directory created in slash home. Root is the big boss, so root will get a separate directory, but normal users will have their home directory created under slash home. Okay, all right. Let me come out of my user. I don't want to work. Okay, now inside this directory, I would like to see how many files, how many directories or folders are there. So as we came to know that we logged in as root user, and right now we are in slash root directory, I would like to see in slash root what is the data available, how many files are there, how many folders are there, all that thing I would like to view. So you just need to run a command called ls. Guys, ls stands for list. So when you say ls, it is going to show you the content of this directory. Now it is showing you some data, Anaconda, ks.cfg, desktop, document, download, some initial setup, many things it is showing you over here. Now, is it a files or is it a directory? How can I know that the displayed thing is a file or a displayed thing is a directory? I don't know. So if you want to know whether it is a file or a directory, there is one simple hint, guys. Almost all Linuxes follow this criteria that if it is a file, it would be displayed in black color. And if it is if it is a directory, then it is going to display in blue color. Files are displayed in black color and directories are displayed in blue color. So with this color coding, you can be finding out that whether it is a file or a directory. But guys, when we talk about Unix or Linux, both are very similar. So not every Unix or not every Linux will follow that color coding. Here color coding is available. I'm telling black is a file and blue is a directory or blue is a folder. Normally we call it as folder in Windows. Here we call it as directory. Directory or folder is what? It is collection of more files and subdirectories inside it. So we won't be calling it folder. We are going to call it directory. Directory is nothing but a folder. So as I tell you that color coding is available in most of the Linuxes, but there are few Linuxes which does not shows color coding. Now in that scenario, how can I know whether it is a file or whether it is a directory? Now there will be confusion. Suppose everything is coming in black color. So do you think that everything is files only? So that would become complicated. The simple stuff over here is you have to run the command ls, give a space, and option. See the option you have to give with a dash. You can call it as hyphen. So ls hyphen l. ls stands for what, guys? List. Hyphen l stands for what? Long form. List the output in long form. So when you say ls hyphen l, it shows you the properties of the file and the directory. It gives you detailed information about a file or directory. Now just observe over here that the black color fellow is coming, it's starting with a dash, and that blue color fellow is starting with D. So if the file information is starting with hyphen, that means it is a normal file. I'll put it in writing for your benefit. So if the output is starting with dash, it is a file, right? And then if the output is starting with D, it is a directory. So whenever you say ls-l, and if you see the output, if the output is starting with dash, that means it is a normal file. If it is starting with D, that means it is a directory. So observe, all the blue things are coming with D and all the black things are starting with dash. So something which is starting with dash is a normal file, and something which is starting with D is a directory. Now this is a guaranteed confirmation that whether it is a file or directory. So if there is no color coding, you have to say ls-l and you can find out whether it is a file or it is a directory in a simple technique. Now, what is that RW and all that thing? We are going to cover up in the coming time. This is called as file permissions. Now, as of now, we may not understand what exactly is that file permission, but we are going to learn that. So first field is called as file permission. Then it is showing you how many links this file is having. Then next thing it is showing you who is the owner of this particular file. See, the creator, the one who has created the file, is called as owner of the file. Every file has two things, guys. A user who is the owner and a group who is the group owner. So first name what you see over here is the name of the creator who has created this file. We call it as what? Owner. Who is the owner of the file? And next name what you see over here is the group name. First name is the username who is the owner, and second name is the group name who is the group owner. So remember, a file can belongs to a user and it can belongs to a group. The owner of the file is called as creator, user, or owner, and the group owner of the file. Then after that, what is the size of the file in bytes? What is the size of the file in bytes? And at what date and time this particular file was created? February 16, February 17. Finally, it is displaying you the name of the file. So this is the file permission, how many links it is having, who is the owner of the file, who is the group owner of the file, what is the size in bytes, at what time the file was created, and what is the name of the file. So these are the details what it is going to print when you say list in long form. Now you see the screen is filled up with lots of data. I would like to clear the screen. How can I clear the screen? The next command what we are going to see here is clear command. When you run clear command, it is going to clear the screen. It removes the previous printed information and screen will be clear, right? So whenever you see that the screen is filled up with lots of data, you want to clear the screen or clean the screen, you can simply run clear command and the screen will get clear. Now let us see few more simple commands. I want to see what is the date and time going on in my machine. To check the date and time, you can use a command called date. When you run date command, it prints today's date according to your machine. So as per my machine, the date is set to Wednesday, February 17, and the time is 6:36 a.m. And the time zone is IST, Indian Standard Time, and the year is 2021. Same way, let us say I would like to see the calendar of present month. Maybe I want to see the present month calendar, so you can run the command cal. When you run the command cal, it is going to print the calendar. So it says this is February month 2021 and this is the calendar of this particular month. If you want to see whole year's calendar, then you can say cal and the year name 2021. So this is going to print the whole year's calendar, January to December. Now again, the screen is filled up with lots of data. How can I clear the screen? You have to say clear command, C-L-E-R. When we run this command, it is going to clear the screen. Or guys, there is one more technique to do that. Suppose I want to see calendar for some other year. Let's say I want to see the calendar for 1950. So it is going to display the calendar for the year 1950. Now, if you want to clear the screen in a shortcut, I don't want to type the command clear, the complete command. So there is a shortcut to clear the screen. Very handy shortcut. Like in Windows also, guys, you have a shortcut, Control C, Control V kind of thing. Here we have Control L. When we run Control L command, it is going to clear the screen. I don't even have to type clear, right? Just use Control L and the screen will be clear. So when I say cal and any year, it is going to display that entire year, 1950s, entire, thing will be displayed out, right? Now, I would like to see a specific month of 1950. So you can say cal May 1950. I'm telling show me the calendar for fifth month of 1950. So on that year, that particular month, it is going to display the output. That is the way how you can view the date and you can view the calendar. Date command will display the date and cal command will show you present month calendar. If you want to see a specific month of specific year, then you have to say cal the month you are interested in and the year you are interested in. That is going to display that specific month, that specific year's detail, right? So this is the way how we are going to work with these simple command line of Linux. Now, let us try to learn how to create a file, how to create a directory, something like that. So let us say I would like to create a file and I would like to store some data inside it. Guys, to create a file, we are going to work with cat command, right? Cat command stands for concatenate command that allows you to create a file, that allows you to add more data to the file, that allows you to overwrite the file, right? All that things you can do. You can create a fresh file, you can add more data to existing file, or you can even overwrite the file with the help of cat command. So to create a file, the command what we are going to learn is cat. I'll say cat greater than followed by file name. Now guys, let me tell you one thing before we go with cat command. Cat command is little dangerous command. You need to be very, very careful while using cat command. Why I'm telling you like that? See, suppose I have the files over here. Now I would like to create a new file. So I'll use the command cat, then I have to give a space. Spaces are important. Cat space greater than, and then you can mention the file name. For example, the file I want to create is my file. Now, why I was telling you that it is little dangerous? See, I'm giving the name of the file my file. That's great. If that name file is not available so far, it creates a new file for you. So a fresh file with the name my file will be created. You can store the data. But the problem is if the same name file already exists, it does it does not gives you even the warning. It does not prompt you anything. Simply it is going to overwrite the file. That is the dangerous thing inside it. So when I say cat greater than and the file name, if the file does not available already, a fresh file will be created. If the file was already there, then it is going to overwrite it. That is the problem, guys. That if the file already exists, instead of giving you a warning, it is going to overwrite the file. So be very careful with the name what you are using. Don't use the name which is already there in your system or in your current folder. So as you see in my current folder, there is no file with the name my file. So I don't have to worry on this background. I'll simply say cat greater than and the file name. Now you see it has given you a place where you can type your data. For example, I'll type hello world, right? Now I want to go to next line. So you can hit enter. But when you hit enter, try to run backspace. See, backspace will not work. It will not take you to previous line. So once you hit enter after first line, that line is locked. You cannot go back again and you cannot correct it. This is how cat command will work. I'll say hello world, Linux is freedom, something like that I want to type. Now again, if I want to take a new line, I will hit enter. Now guys, I have written some data inside it. Hello world, Linux is freedom, whatever else you want, you can add it. Now, my work is over. I would like to save the content. To save the file, you have to press Control D. See, D is like done. If you want to cancel the changes, you have to press Control C. Control C to cancel the changes. Control D is to done the changes. Maybe you're done, you want to save the file. So I'll say Control D. When I press Control D, you see your file is saved. So you can find now that there is a file available with the name called my file. So your file is created successfully. You told cat greater than file name. So the file is created. Now suppose I would like to view what is the data inside it. I want to see what is the content of that file. How can I read a file? See, if you want to read a file, the command goes simply like this. You have to say cat and the file name that you want to view. For example, my file. So you can say cat my file. For example, I'll say cat and followed by the file name. So when I say cat my file, you see it is printing what is the data that is available in the file, right? So cat command works with file. By mistake, if you say cat, for example, there is a directory music. If I say cat music, it says music is a directory. Cat command cannot read a directory, right? So cat command always work with file. Now how to clear the screen? You can type clear command or you can use Control L, right? So when I say cat my file, you see the data is available inside it. Now let me show you if I again say cat greater than the file name. See, this time already there is a file with the name called my file. So when I say cat greater than and the file name, it should warn me. It should tell me that this name file already exists, something like that. But you see, when I hit enter, has it given us a warning? No, no information provided, no warning given, no prompting done. Now suppose I'll say this is my first change, for example. Now let me say Control D and I'm going to run cat my file again. See, there is a shortcut to repeat your previous commands. Instead of again and again typing the same command, you can use up arrow. When you use up arrow, it shows you all the previous commands that you have run so far, right? All the commands it is showing you, isn't it? Right? So like that, you can use up arrow, down arrow to repeat your previous command. I would like to see cat my file one more time. So you see the content is overwritten. Earlier the content was hello world, Linux is freedom, but now the content got overwritten. But when I run this command, guys, did you observe? Has it asked you a question? Has it prompted you? Has it given you a warning? Nothing. This is why I was telling you that cat command is little dangerous command to create a file. If you by mistake gave the name of the file that is already existing, cat greater an existing file, it is going to overwrite the content. That is little dangerous. So be very, very alert when you are going with cat greater command. Make sure that you are not giving the name of the file that is already existing. If you give that name, then you are going to lose the data from it. It is going to overwrite it. Let us say I don't want to overwrite the content. Maybe I want to keep my previous lines as it is, and a new line I want to add. I don't want to overwrite it. I want to add some new data into my existing file. To add new data into your existing file, you have to say cat. Let us find out the command first of all. You have to say cat double greater and the file name. So when you run cat double greater file name, this will allow you to append the data into your existing file. Appending is adding more data into existing file. We are not overwriting the file over here. And double greater only works with existing file name. If the file does not exist, it will throw warning. So you need to say cat double greater the file in which you want to add more data. So I'll say cat double greater and the file name. The file name is my file. So this will allow you to append or update your file. For example, I'm going to add this is my second change. Now to save it, Control D to done to save the changes. And now if I read the file, cat my file, you see my first file change is there. It is not overwritten. Just in the new line, a new data is added. Same way, again, you can say cat double greater my file, and you can say this is my third change. I'm sorry. To save it, I have to say Control D. And now if I say cat and the file name, so you see your third change is also added. So double greater will give you a new line below the available data so that you can make the changes inside it. Now guys, you might ask a question here. What if I want to make the change in line number 1? Or line number 2. Maybe I have made a mistake in line number 1 or line number 2. Then how? See, cat command will not allow you to make the changes in your existing data. It simply give you new line to add more data into your existing file. That is it, what it is going to do. It is never going to give you chance to edit your file. To edit your file, we need some other commands, some other tools. We call it as file editors. So we are going to learn about file editors. By using them, you can make any change in the file anywhere you like. But remember this thing that cat command will not allow you to edit your previous data. It simply give you new line where you can add some data into existing file. Either create a fresh file or overwrite a file or append the data into existing file. Only these three activities will be allowed by using cat command. That is it. It won't allow you to make or edit the changes in your file. How to edit then? We have to go with some file editors we are going to learn in the coming time. So this is the way you can create a file, you can create or you can add the data, or you can overwrite the file. Now, one more thing I'd like to show you here. Suppose I want to create multiple files at a time. See, basically what command I'm trying to show you is touch command. By using this touch command, you can create multiple files. See in which scenario we create multiple files. I haven't seen much great use of touch command to create multiple files. The only usage of touch command is to create multiple files and just keep them in display. That's it. You can create multiple files, but you cannot add parallelly data into that. These are called as 0 byte files or empty files, which does not have anything. Suppose you just want to create multiple files and keep it. Later on, you will go and add the data to it. So you can say touch command and the file name 1, file name 2, file name 3, like that. Like in this scenario, I'm using file 1, file 2, and file 3. So when I say touch, create a file, file 1, file 2, and file 3. Now do ls and you'll find your 3 files are created, file 1, file 2, and file 3. Now when I say ls space hyphen l, this is going to give you detailed output. See every file here, it is displaying the size. What is the size? What is the size? What is the size? But just check file 1. It is showing size 0. File 2 0. File 3 0. So these are empty files which contains nothing inside it. You just confirm with cat command, you will not find anything inside it. These are called as 0 byte files or empty file. The only usage what I have seen is whenever you want to show some data. Suppose somewhere you just want to show some data, we'll create empty files and display. Other than this, I have not really seen the real usage of empty files. Why would I keep empty files created? Whenever there is a need, I'll create a file, I'll keep some data. Keeping 0 file size is not that much required all the time. Only for some experimental basis or when you want to show some data in some location, this is how you can create empty files and keep it. Now, one more thing, guys. When I say ls-l, it is showing the huge output. Slowly and steadily, every day new data will be added. So here we are having some 12, 13 files. Maybe in your location, you are having 40 files or 50 files. Then the output will be very big. Suppose I'm not interested to see the whole output. I only want to see the details about my file. So how can I only target 1 file or 2 file details? You can say ls hyphen l, show me only the detail about my file. So when you do like that, you see instead of displaying the whole output, it is only showing you the information about 1 file, that is my file. Or maybe you want to see information about 2 files. So you can say ls-l file 1, file 2. So you see it is displaying only the information about file 1 and file 2 instead of displaying the whole output. The same thing if I run on a directory. Suppose I'll say ls-l, show me only the detail about music directory. So when I hit enter, you see it is not showing me the properties. It is showing me the content or the total is 0. What is that total 0? See that total 0 means in that directory there is nothing. It's an empty directory. This directory contains no data. That's what it is telling you. But I'm not interested to see what is in music directory. I want to see the properties of music directory. See, whenever you are looking for the detail about a file, you have to say ls-l and the file name. But whenever you are looking for the directory information, then you have to say ls-ld. See, D means I want to see the details about a directory. I'm telling list in long form, show me the details about so and so directory. What is the directory name? The directory name is music with capital M. So you see now it is showing you the details about the directory. So if you want to see a particular file's detail, you have to say ls-l file name. If you want to see a particular directory's detail, you have to say ls-ld and the directory name. ld for the directory, ls-l for the file. Like that, you can check the details about a file or you can check the details about a directory. Now, when we talk about directory, let us try to learn how to create a directory. Let's say, guys, I want to create a folder, and in that folder, I want to store my personal data, my something related. For example, I have songs. So instead of keeping lots of songs here and there, I'll create one folder with the name called songs, and inside it, I'm going to keep all my audio songs or something. Or let us say I have some videos, right? Some training videos. So I'm going to create a folder with that name, Linux training, and I'll put all Linux training videos in that particular folder. So folder is used to keep number of files and subfolders or directories inside it. So normally we call it as folder, but in Linux we are going to call it directories. So how we can create a directory? To create a directory, we have a very simple command, guys, called mkdir. So when I say mkdir followed by directory name. Okay, one more thing before I proceed. See, touch command, if I give existing file name, what happens? Is it going to overwrite? I told you cat greater than and the file name will overwrite. But if I say touch an existing file name, is it overwriting the file? No. Touch is safe command. Touch command will simply skip the name. If the name of the file is already there, it will not do anything. If the name of the file is not there, then it is going to create a new file. For example, if I say touch file 4 is not there, so now it got created. Did you see? But when I say touch my file, the file was already there, so it did not do anything. Touch is a safe command to work with. Now let's come back to our command mkdir, make directory and the directory name. So if you want to create a new directory, you have to say mkdir and the directory name. So let us say I'm going to create a new directory. Let us say mkdir. I want to create a new directory with the name called mydir. Observe in your current location there is no file or no directory with the name mydir. So I am giving a fresh name, the name that is not available so far. So let me say mkdir mydir. Now if you do ls list, you'll find that mydir is created successfully, right? If the name of the directory you are choosing, for example, one more time I'm telling mkdir make mydir. This time you see it says that the name you are mentioning is already there. I cannot do anything. So mkdir is again a safe command. It is not like cat command which overrides without even informing you. With mkdir, if you mention the name which is already available, it is going to throw an error. It is not going to complete the task for you. It says the name of the directory what you have chosen is already taken. So you have to create a directory with some other name. So this is the difference between cat command and mkdir. Cat will create a file, mkdir will create a directory. Cat creates the file even if the file is already there with the same name, it overwrites it. But mkdir does not overwrite the directory. If the name of the directory is already chosen, it is going to throw the error, but it is not going to continue. That is the way this directory command will work. So, okay, now my dir is created successfully. Let us say I want to go inside my dir and I want to put some more data. So how can I go into other directory? If you check pwd, it says you are in /root. If you do ls, it is telling you what is the data in /root. Now, if I want to change my directory, if I want to go into some other directory, then I need to use a command called cd. cd stands for change directory. I'm telling change my location and take me into which directory? My dir. Observe here, it is showing you a tilt symbol. Tilt symbol means you are in your home directory. Whenever you log in with any user, for example, I am logging as my user, I am giving a password. If I am in that user's home directory, see, my user's home directory is /home my user. Whenever you are in your home directory, the symbol it will be giving you is tilt. So tilt means I am in my home directory, that is /root. But when I say cd, take me to my dir, hit enter. Did you see that the location it is showing you is different? It is telling you that you are no more present in home directory. You are present in my dir right now. So if you run print working directory or present working directory, you will find out it is telling you that in root there is a directory called my dir where you are presently available. Now here you can create files, directories, whatever you want you can. See, I can create number of files here. For example, I'll say touch n file, right? New file, for example. Now, one more thing I'll show you, very interesting. Suppose guys, I want to create 5 files in a single shot. I don't want to mention n file 1 space n file 2 space n file 3. I don't want to do that. I want to create the file from 1 to file. Initial name should be n file and then it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So whenever you want to give a range, you want to create a file in a range, then you can use that curly bracket or parenthesis, whatever you say. Now between this, you can mention the range to start. I'll say start with line number 1 and continue till line number 5, or sorry, file number 5. So you can say start with number 1 and continue with file. So you see 5 files will be created with the name n file 1, n file 2, n file 3 like that. Now when I hit enter, do ls. You see, 5 files have been created. File number 1, file number 2, file number 3, file number 4, file number 5. In fact, guys, if I give 1 dot dot 50, so it will create 50 files, starting with 1 going till 50. If I give 500, it goes with 1 to 500. If I give 5000, it will go with 1 to 5000. So in a single shot, you can create 5 files. This is the power of command line. With graphics, if you create a file, you have to say right click create file, right click create file. Can you create 50 files like that? No, but command line can do that. That is the reason in Linux command line is more powerful and preferable. Okay, so like that you can create multiple files. Same way you can create multiple directories also. For example, I want to create three directories. So I can say mkdir D1, D2, and D3, for example. Now do ls. Did you find that three directories are created? D1, D2, D3. In fact, guys, you can give a range of directory to be created. For example, initial name, I want it to be D only. Then I want to go from 4 to 8. So you can use the curly brackets again. Then what to do, guys? You have to say 4 dot dot 8. So I'm telling start with directory 4 and continue till 8. Do ls. Did you see, guys? 8 directories are created successfully over here. So this is the way how you can create a file or you can create a directory. Now let us say my work is over. I want to go back to my previous directory. If you want to go back to your previous directory, you have to use cd space dot dot. Now just check it out where you are in root, and here you can see my dir. What is in my dir? You can say ls my dir. When you say ls my dir, it shows the content of the directory. It is telling in my dir, these many directories are there and these many files are there. So if you want to go into that directory one more time, you can say cd space my dir. Check pwd, you are inside that directory. If you want to leave the directory, you have to say cd space dot dot. Now you run pwd and you will find that your present working directory is back to root. Do ls and you will see root content. So this is the way you can create a file, you can create a directory, you can go into any directory, you can leave and come back to previous directory. So guys, for today's class, I want to stop the session over here only. I don't want to proceed beyond this. Now, if you have any questions, any doubts so far, anything you have not understood properly, please let me know. You can type your question or you can unmute and put your question. Any one of you, if you are not able to understand anything so far, please put your questions, please put your doubts now.
Sorry, I have one question.
Yes, Ham. You don't have any question?
I have one.
Yeah, please, please, please.
Yes, when you talk about file in Linux, we always talk about file, not folder, right?
No, no, we can create a file. We can create a folder. See,
Because
file,
the reason why I asked is that, when you when you set a file, you type something inside the file and you list all those things like they are inside the file. Or
yeah,
maybe I didn't get the difference between a file and folder. You can just
I'll
expatiate.
tell you, I'll tell you, I'll tell you. See, file is a simple, normal information, what you keep inside it. Like, for example, you have a resume. Resume is a file which contains your personal information, what you have kept inside it. So like that, there are many files. Even in Windows also, we create many files by using MS Word, Notepad, which keep certain information. Like my file is there. For example, I'll keep cat my file. It stores some information, some detail. Now this file can be a music file which contains some audio. It can be a video file. So when you view that file, it displays some videos for you, or normally it is just an information file which store information about some disease, or maybe you're working with some software, so software related information, that is a file, right? And folder is collection of files. Suppose you have, for example, audio files. So I want to keep all audio files at one place. So what I'll do, I'll copy the files and I'll put it into one folder. Suppose I have my training videos. So all training video files I'll collect and I'll keep it over there. Or suppose I'm a student. So there is an academic files for me. For example, I am a commerce student. So for my commerce lectures and all, I have created some notes. So all notes, I will keep it in a commerce folder so that whenever I want to find commerce related information, I'll go to that commerce folder and inside it, I'll find all the files related to that particular thing. So individually, a file keeps a simple information, and number of files together, you can club it and put it into one place that can be your folder. Segregation of your data would be simple if you maintain folders or directories. Am I clear, Hamid?
Yes, very clear. So just to cap it off, this my file that we created. If we don't want to access it through this CLI command, we can access it through the normal my computer too, right?
You can access it from your graphical also, but as we are working on Linux, we must be more concerned about command line, because when
Yeah.
you appear for interview or when you go for work culture, they will never give you graphical console to work. We will always be working on command line. Linux is more and more about command line. So we
No.
should be more command line user rather than graphical user. You can
Uh,
access it through graphics also. There is no problem. See,
uh,
there is a files option available here, and you can see file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. So is it visible or not? Over here you can see my file also. Double click it and you will find the file is open for you. So you can
uh,
access it
uh,
graphically, you can access its command line.
okay, thank you. Thank you. I just want to know. Okay, that's why I want to learn Linux. You don't want to use graphics no more. Want to use command
Yeah.
line.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, because you know what happens is when you appear for interview and if you say that we can do it through graphics, they'll say then you are better for Windows, not for Linux. As a Linux or Unix user, we should be more command line users. Yes, guys, anyone else is having any questions, any doubts?
Yeah, Musa, good morning. Is it possible to share the manual?
Yeah, once you complete the fees payment and all that process, recordings and everything will be shared with you.
Already we have done. Okay,
Okay,
no
no
issues.
problem. Then we will share with you. Don't worry about it. You'll get it by today.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, Abdullah here.
Yes, Abdullah, tell me.
Can we switch from client mode to graphical mode as we are switching from graphical mode to terminal mode, I mean client mode, or directly we are logging to PuTTY, right?
It
So
put
now I am into client mode. I mean I am into client mode. I mean CLI mode. So I
hmm,
want to switch back to GUI. So is it possible?
Putty does not support graphics to you.
Okay.
So whenever you are working from your Windows or any other place remotely, if you want to connect, then we have to
Mhm.
go with Putty tool only. Graphically,
Okay.
if you want to connect, then you have to directly connect like this.
Got it.
open a virtual machine or something.
Okay.
Yes, guys. Any other questions, any other doubts you're having, please put forward your questions. This is the time. Okay. So I guess that all questions are done. No problem. So please go through with today's recording. I think I have almost everyone's email address. The one who has not yet given me their email address, please put your email address in chat window. Right, Jaga, can you please put your, Jagdish, can you put your email address in the chat window so that I can share required stuff? So these are the few important things, guys, what we have to start with. Watch this video carefully, practice it well, and whoever has not yet completed the installation, please finish the installation. If you're stuck up anywhere, you know how to reach me out. You can just message me or let me know. I'll try to help you out. Right. Thank you very much, Jagdish. We'll share the stuff with you also today. So we'll stop the session here, guys. Let's meet up tomorrow again, same time, and we'll continue with next session. Right. So you'll be receiving today's stuff and the other things also. So we'll stop the class here, guys. Let's meet up tomorrow and let's continue with our session tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.